India, why the fuck are you playing your title credits while the movie's still going? I cannot deal with that. You have to understand. Why? Because I was crying at that point and the lights came on. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, wait, hold on. People are going to see me. What are you doing? Like,
people are going to see, everybody sees you cry.
No! When the lights are on, dude, it's different. You can see the glisten of the your face is wet. Like, no, you can't do this to me.
Pizza time.
Pizza time.
Ed, how are you?
I'm good, sir. Very good.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was nice. Same as last year. I went up back home to San Francisco with the dog and the wife, and just this year for Black Friday, which my family's a big Black Friday lineup, people. No lines. Like, it was actually nice to see that people were not like so like just taken over by that day and just enjoying life. It was nice.
Black Friday is not the same anymore.
No.
Like, I remember when we were kids, my mom would be like, yo, we're going to get up on Black Friday on a random year because we would go get a TV for 90% off, something like that.
5 cents.
Yeah, those were the deals. Not this ridiculous. I mean, now you can get a TV, pretty
so dirt
TV
cheap,
for like
man.
$100.
There was a 65 inch for like $200. I was like, dang. It's really good. Yeah, it's a Westinghouse, but
I mean, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, and I just realized though, for those our Indian audience, I don't know if you guys know Black Friday, but I'm sure you know somewhat of Thanksgiving. But Black Friday Thanksgiving lands on a Thursday every year for us. The following Friday is this like humongous, the biggest sale of the year across all companies and whatnot, and usually historically people just lose their freaking minds, much like an animal in this movie that we're talking about today. And
there's a segue.
Yeah, that huge. It's just like that, where people just ripping their heads off for a $200 TV. Anyways, it's completely changed this year, and it was nice. It was nice to see people just not thinking about that and being family forward. How about your Thanksgiving?
Mine was good. I went back home to see my grandparents in El Paso, Texas. That's where I'm from. Took the wife back. She loves El Paso. It's her favorite place on planet Earth.
Is that true?
No.
Oh. In my mind, I mean, that was my reaction to be nice, but my mind was like, get the fuck out of here.
My wife, Miss Italian, who's over in Italy with all the hills. You think she likes El Paso?
No, but she loves you, and that's why I would imagine she would say that.
She would never say that. No. You got to learn more about my wife. She would, no matter how much love she had for me, she would never say she loves.
I just got coffee in my nose because you said that.
Anyway, from the hecticness that wasn't in Black Friday, I guess we'll transfer over to the hecticness that was Animal. That's what we're talking about this week. We're talking about Ranbir's new film Animal, directed by Sandeep Rita Vanga. This is his second film.
Wow.
His first film was actually I forgot. Let me look it up.
Sing.
Yeah, Kabir Singh.
There we go.
Which was a remake of his first film, which was Art Ready.
Wild. That's pretty cool to be able to remake your own movie.
Yeah, he remade it in Hindi. Kabir Singh. We haven't seen it.
That's awesome.
I've been told by many, 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 many followers that have reached out to me over the last week who said we have to watch Kabir Singh, so we will definitely review it, react to it, give it a good review. But the film we're talking about today is Animal, and Ed, I believe the hype for this movie was through the roof. And before we get into what we thought about the movie, this movie so far had the biggest box office debut in second biggest box office debut in Bollywood history. This film. I mean, first of all,
congrats.
Round of applause for Bollywood.
Congrats, man.
I think it's been like an insane year for Bollywood, and it's only seeming like it's going forward.
I would like to think so.
Yes. Some of the stuff from America has been. But yes, Animal, to give you a quick, if I could do that, a quick roundup of what this movie was. Like I said, it stars Ranbir as Vijay. And it follows his journey from adolescence to adulthood as he idolizes his father and how that idolization turns into vengeance and destruction. Yes, and again, I think the only person you need to know who is in this movie is Ranbir Kapoor, because that's all that matters. But it's a very, very long and a very, very crazy film. It's 3 hours and 20 minutes. It even has a post-credit scene. So, Ed, what are your thoughts? We haven't spoken about Ed saw it late last night. I saw it early in the morning.
Very late.
Both our theaters were packed.
I want to start with that just so that there's this to just round out sort of update our Indian audience on like how Indian cinema has really blown up here in America. So I was looking up tickets in the morning. Typically, every time I watch a new Indian movie here, again, no offense to India, it's just like it's not full, right? It's easy to get a ticket, but there's people for sure. I opened up my Fandango app to get tickets at like late, like probably like 30 minutes before showtime. The entire theater was packed. I had to sit in the single lonely seat on the far right side of the theater because it was it was the best seat in the house at the time, was that single seat. And I was like, oh no, this was 9:40 a.m. at night, p.m. at night. This is one of the longest Indian films ever made. I got out of the theater at 1 a.m. 22, but it was packed. It was a fantastic crowd. There was cheering and just so, I mean, and I'm sure it was minute in scale compared to these videos I've been seeing of the Indian audience in India losing their apps, like throw firecrackers or something in the theater. I'm like, is that even legal? It's fantastic, but it's coming. That stuff is coming. Anyways, in jumping off of that, what I thought about Animal.
Oh boy.
I don't know. You said you weren't really sure how I was going to respond. Here's my thoughts.
I wasn't sure. Yeah.
I love this movie. I had a great freaking time. It's a euphoric medley bloodbath of testosterone, a la Scarface, a la Taxi Driver, a la Joker, to bring it to the modern times. It's this high octane entertainment that's funny, but it also it's also a this wonderful character study of this traumatized man, a close look at this anti-hero that is equally entertaining as it is also pretty emotional. Like I think the script is really well done. I think it was more or less paced very well for the most part, and it's just everything a movie, I think, at this level, at this sort of what we expect out of action thrillers could really do. And even at its length, I wasn't mad at it. I loved this world. I loved the characters, and I think overall it gave everything you wanted. And Ranbir Kapoor, dude, my God, that performance! What a performance! Probably one of my favorite of the year in terms of where I would place this in the new Indian films I've seen in this year. I'd probably place it second as my second favorite.
What's your first?
Rocky Rani's not going to be Trump. That's going to be tough. Right. But this is easily the second best new Indian film I've seen this year. Not that I've seen all of them, but this one is easily up in the top. I had a great time with this movie, and I cannot wait to talk about it because it's just great. And all its fantastic feminist positive... I'm just kidding. Boy, complete sarcasm there. No, I want to talk about just how freaking animalistic this movie was, and it was great. It was great. Yeah. I liked it a lot. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I think... so... I actually enjoyed it. Okay. I was on the fence. My expectations, I think, were brought down a little bit because I had a couple of different followers reach out, and they're like, hey, I don't know if you're going to like it. It may not be your type of film. But a lot of people told me I wouldn't like Rocky Rani, and that was a banger.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, again, like, we are Westerners. I think there's naturally going to be a inherent, disproportion there of like what is expected of what we're going to like, and so I can see why some people may say that, but okay. So anyways, keep going.
Yeah, but no, I enjoyed the film, and again, I think that it was just this platform for Ranbir to kind of flex, to say, hey, I'm ready to take the next step. I know the world may be looking for the next SRK, the world looking for the next so-and-so. Here I am.
Yeah.
You know, here's the next, hey, India, here's your next big, massive star to start rooting for. And again, like, his performance can just go from this, like, crazy, lost little boy to this animalistic, insane person in a flash. I thought the movie was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it's supposed to be as funny as it was, but it was so freaking funny.
I think it was.
At times, I was like, that's really funny. Like, the scene, well, we'll talk about scenes later.
Yeah.
But overall, yes, I enjoyed the film. I think Andrew Tate's probably going to think this is his favorite of all time. I'm not even going to lie about that. Yes, there is some misogyny going on.
This movie is the poster child for toxic masculinity.
It is.
To be true, but like, look, it does not glorify it. I think it definitely says, like, this is not good. This is not. It's an anti-hero. He's not a good person. He's heavily traumatized from childhood. They make that very clear. You should not be this person. So no. That being said, it's toxic masculinity up the wazoo. There's, like, the kind of guy, like, this is what we're talking about. Like, this is the guy. Yeah, that's I can see it now.
But overall, yes, I liked the film. I just can't, like, the pace. I'll start with the pace, just like you did.
That was like a bit of criticism?
No, I actually was going to agree with you. I didn't feel the 3 hour and 22 minute pace. I was like, there was never a moment where I was like, oh man, I wonder when this ends. There was a moment, like, towards the end when the credits were rolling. I was like, oh no, are they seeing me to go the whole time?
We're going to talk about that.
Because I have to pee so bad. But other than that, I didn't feel the pace. It moved really, really well.
So see,
I will say, I think the first half of the film was fantastic.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And I thought the second half dragged
not as strong. I believe I agree with you on that. Yes.
Lost the urgency there.
But was fine. I mean, overall was still okay. I'll say this to jump off of this point. I think one of the best things about this movie, especially at its runtime, and especially at how complex it could have been, was its simplicity. It was so easy to understand the main story. They did not overcomplicate it like KGF. There's as much people and characters in this movie as any of the great 3 hour epic Indian movies, but it's just so simple. You know what time period they're at every single time. They make it very clear, and it's just everything that's happening is just dumbed down to its surface level things. Like, there's no extra talk about politics, extra talk about who's over here talking to who, and like blah blah, trying to make it just overly complicated. It was so simple, and it just goes to show that even at 3 hours, something so simple can be entertaining and flow really well and keep you going. Be more like this in terms of your epics, India. Just simple. Just keep it simple. If you're going to keep us in a seat for 3 hours, it will work. It will be fine. You have great characters, typically great scenes and bits. This is one of the best things about this movie, in my opinion. In this,
I agree with that. There was nothing overcomplicated about it. I think it could have maybe gotten a little too. What's the word I'm looking for when talking about the story? A little too messy at times. Like, maybe just a little bit. I think it could be a fair criticism of it, but other than that,
I'm comparing it to the rest of Indian films. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Hard. This is like
complaints about it.
So easy to understand compared to most. I'll say that. Yeah.
Right. Then again, you follow from the moment it starts to the moment it ends.
You're not confused.
Dude, the moment we see Ranbir and his mullet on a motorcycle, I was like, there is so many women in my screening. I was like,
this was 1996, right? This took place in like the 90s to the 2000s, I guess, right?
Yeah. When he came back from college or boarding school.
I would say he even looked as far back as like the 80s, because he looked like freaking like Fonzie, you know what I mean? Like,
dude,
grease. He looked greased. He was a greaser, right? Like, that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Where do you want to start with the
oh my god
review?
I guess we should just talk about Ranbir, because everyone's going to be talking about it. Let's just start there. I already said a bit of my praise, but Again, dude, it's his movie. It's his movie, and he is just a phenomenal actor. He absolutely owned this role. I can't even see anybody else in it. And he just really struck an amazing balance between being this clearly broken child who just was always, you just never knew what he was going to do. He was heavily traumatized by the upbringing of his father, and you feel that throughout the whole movie. He's a bit of a time bomb. Like, you just don't know what he's gonna do. He never goes, and at the same time he is a bit still an anti-hero. He never goes too far against the good
right
people. He's it's always towards the worst people, but because they're the worst, he gives the worst. And so that's where you go, holy shit. But that balance is fantastic. Every little small scene he's in, every big scene he's in, he's just commanding it, and he's just fantastic. I loved him. He's really, really good.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I something you didn't say is, again, I think something that should be praised is his turn from menacing to comedic in a snap. I think is something that really should be applauded, because there's moments where when he's talking, when they're getting that big gun, the all made
BFG baby,
which was hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. Love that scene.
Hilarious. But he says, "I need your underwear." Because earlier, which was it's simple writing, but it gets paid off. Because his wife tells him, "We'll get you new underwear. Just don't wear some today." And then it goes back later. The guy goes, "You need to have underwear on for this." Freddie, right?
Yeah, Eddie. Freddie.
Freddie, yeah. Says you need to have underwear on. So he takes his underwear off, gives it to him, and then he just goes on this, which is hilarious. And then he just goes on this insane killing rampage.
Just massacred.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How many guys is he gonna kill?
Yeah. And I love the bit. I love the bit of the underwear. Like, that was taken from. It was a bit that runs through the whole film, and it's a great. Again, I really think the writing in this movie is actually quite sharp. It's very smart. But that theme of the underwear goes through the whole masculinity thing, like protecting your jewels and
junk
and making sure it's okay. And then there's those great scenes where he's complaining about the fabric of his underwear, and it's just these small sort of mundane scenes that are for comedic effect, but also sort of somewhat humanize him, bring some some humor into the film, are just really great. It's really funny.
I mean, another scene that pops out to me where I thought he was so good was when he goes and protects his younger sister because she's getting bullied at college. Older sister, sorry. And they don't take him seriously, and they're like, leave. And then he walks away, and then it's immediate. You're just like, oh man, this guy is a broken human being.
Oh, exactly.
Insanely broken.
They let you know soon.
But he does it in such like you shouldn't think this is cool.
No.
It's cool because he's bringing a gun into school, for Christ's sake. Definitely
not cool.
He walks in and he's holding the gun, shooting the gun on the ground.
Yeah.
And then goes up, walks up to the guy and says, doesn't say a word. And the guy just spills his beans. And I was like, damn.
The music helps for sure, which I loved. I love the soundtrack in this movie, but that helps because every moment that you're supposed to feel that, it hits. But again, I think it also comes back to the fact that he strikes that great anti-hero balance. He wasn't being particularly irresponsible. I don't know. I guess you could say he was just trying to be menacing. He's just trying to puff his chest. That's all it is. Again, animals, puff your chest. That's all it is. And I'm not actually going to try to hurt somebody that doesn't deserve it. But it goes over to a little bit overboard with social cues. So I love that scene. Really cool.
Every scene he has with his father, which is one of the
holy shit, dude,
film, right?
Well, I want to say that Ranbir was fantastic, but also everyone else in the film also really strong, including Anil Kapoor as his father. He took me back to the moments where my dad was his worst, and punishing me, man. When he would yell, holy shit. Anil was amazing. But those scenes with them are great.
Everybody was very, very fantastic in this film. It was really great casting.
Yes.
I went to the Wikipedia page for Animal, and it brought me to the stupid Wikipedia page of animals, all animals.
Ranbir's there. That'd be really funny. He just has his own section. Dude, somebody should do that. Oh, that was great marketing. Talk about great marketing.
Wikipedia. Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Oh, Good marketing.
Anyway, yeah. So I just went to the cast list, and everybody was great. I agree. Those scenes with the father, like especially when they're starting to argue, and when Ranbir starts to like, or maybe we call him by his real name, VJ.
Yeah. Actually
starts to, make sense to his father.
Right.
And his father goes, Jesus, I was a terrible dad, wasn't I?
I love that they save that for the end, which if we can quickly talk about it, spoiler alert at this point, the very end of the movie, that comes to a head, and it's such a fantastic scene, right? Where VJ asks his dad, because they just found out that he's going to die of cancer, that, hey, can we like do some role play right now? Because I want you to be in my shoes in the moments where I was a kid, and this is how you traumatized me. And they play it, and it was, one, that's a fantastic way of showing it, and two, you just see the power shift in his father's face, knowing that he's gonna die. You see so much of that regret fall over his face, and like VJ is completely just gone at this point, and it's just a wonderful scene. But I want to say one criticism I had of the film. I have another. I have two big ones. One of them is this one, which is hardly a criticism of the movie itself, but like at the same time, India, why the fuck are you playing your title credits while the movie's still going? I cannot deal with that. You have to understand why, because I was crying at that point, and the lights came on, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Wait, hold on. People are gonna see me. What are you doing? Like,
people are gonna see. Everybody sees you cry.
No, when the lights are on, dude, it's different. You can see the glisten of the fucking. Your face is wet. Like, no, you can't do this to me. I literally, as if I got caught, like like in high school with like a girlfriend, like what the fuck? Like, why did you turn the lights on? There was a full like 5 minutes of the movie still. They turned the lights on with the freaking titles going over.
The credits went on, and there was like
wrong time.
More scenes. Yeah,
wrong time. They did this in freaking what's the other movie? I'm forgetting it. What am I forgetting it? What's the other action? No, the one before that. Jailer. They did it in Jailer too, where they prematurely put the title credits over. Not that I was crying in that one, but I was just like, dude, the movie's still going. I don't know what is happening. Like, let's finish this first. Anyways, that was a big criticism I had because I didn't want to be caught crying like that.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a good criticism.
It's not. I told you, it's not about the movie itself, but like, seriously, stop putting your fucking titles at the end. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, their scenes are just, I like that they waited for it. Like, you don't see what they're talking about in terms of like the trauma that he experiences till way late in the movie. And that's part of why it's so good, because you're always wondering like, what the fuck? Like, how bad was it? You know? And it keeps you on that thread. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it keeps you like hanging on just enough to see that like, yeah, he was not treated great. And then you see like that scene is like the final confrontation is kind of like,
and you see him. I've never seen a movie do that where like you see the person who's the victim of it replay it. That was really powerful to me, like to see that, and I just wasn't. You don't expect that in an action entertainer thriller, right? So this is where I feel like the script was really well done, more than it should have been, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. What other? You want to start with or you want to jump to criticism, or you want to still talk about
I can do one criticism because mine's very simple, but it could launch into some
besides your credit.
Well. Yeah. One of my criticisms was that I think the movie was at its weakest during the big fantastical action sequences. Except for the BFG. I like the BFG a lot. But when it came down to the editing of a lot of these close-up action sequences, it fell into very classic Indian cutting, where it was just very fast and you weren't really it was hard to follow at times, and I didn't think the movie needed that. Like, I actually thought the movie did a really good job when it was being semi-serious about the genre that it was in. I think it would have been fine if they just held some long shots, or whatever, had him fight. Just seeing him fight, I think would have been fine. But it kind of took me out in those so the scenes I'm talking about specifically are like particularly right before the BFG moment, where he's doing that sort of old boy scene, fighting in the alleyway. I really thought that was going to be like a cool old boy type scene with the long telephoto lens with the shots holding for a long time. But no, it was just cut up so violently. It was just like
a lot of cuts.
That's disappointing. It was just very disappointing. I think they could have just really done that differently. That being said, still looked really good, still fairly, well shot, but it's just the editing in those just really brought it down for me. And so that was disappointing, but hardly a worst thing ever. So that was my big criticism of that movie, for sure.
I would agree. That was going to be one of mine. That I didn't think the action scenes were that great or that engaging, probably because of the editing. Right. And my other criticism of the film is I do feel like it did drag quite a bit in the second act.
Sure.
After intermission, you know, when you start to get the him at home, the bits, you know, where he can't smell, can't taste.
He's rehabilitating.
He has the issues with his wife. Even though his wife is doing everything she possibly can to still love him, and he's not doing that great. I thought all that kind of dragged a little bit. I thought the little side story about him having the affair dragged on just a tad bit long. Don't get me wrong. That is probably the most beautiful woman I think I've ever seen in my life.
I was just about to say the same. That was one of my positives. I was like, who is this woman? I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know what her name is.
It is Tripti Dimri. Tripti Dimri as Zoya.
Tripti. Yes, Tripti. Wow.
Would 100% agree.
Oh yeah, one of the most beautiful women I think I've ever seen.
There is Married Men. So, let's just keep it there.
Other than the fact that you get to look at her longer, I was just like, okay, nah, I don't really need all this.
Yeah,
we can cut out the middle part of this of him being in love. And you still get the same point that he's super in love with her.
I think you're right. I agree with you. That was probably the part where I was like, I guess because it just gave me this little bit of like, where's this going all of a sudden? I'm like, are we really about to go to a whole new love story? Please don't make this. Yeah,
I was worried that like, we're gonna go to a whole new love story.
It doesn't.
And
which is good. So I get why they had it. I get why they had it, but I think they could have just really tightened that to be a lot quicker, where it's like, okay, we're not doing that, you know.
It definitely does hope and bolster the argument he has with his wife.
Correct.
Which is a very powerful scene.
Love that scene. Really well handled.
And I mean, and then it ends with him pointing a friggin' shotgun in her face and then shooting on the other side. And I'm just like,
let's talk about that scene.
Because she said, you know, your father is why you're so broken, and your father is a piece of shit, and I gotta stop cursing. And but
can we talk about that scene a little bit? Because I also want to give props to Rashmika Mandana, who is the lead character as Geeta, I guess, or Geetanajali. I forgot, whatever. Sister-in-law, right?
Sister-in-law.
She is also really, really good in this movie, and especially in that scene. Great writing in that scene, and I love that they give her like that's her. In my opinion, that's her scene, and she really controlled that moment with him, because this is where he's like, okay, you're gonna like, this is a force you've never reckoned with, VJ. Like, I'm your wife. And you're going to throw your fucking bullshit at me, your macho bullshit at me all you want. But in this moment, I'm going to hit you where it hurts. And I want to see if you're going to, you know, are you going to kill me? Like, how much do you actually love me at this point? Because you've already cheated on me. So let's see. Like, she knew it wasn't even about the woman. It's always been about the dad. And she presses his buttons. He fucking says, like, I wish your dad died that day. He runs out, gets the shotgun. You go, I don't know. He could literally blow her head off right now.
Oh no!
But that's what makes it more powerful, is that you really believed he could have, and it makes the fact that he doesn't. Again, it's these moments where you go, okay, you realize he's a terrible human being. That being said, there's things that he for sure you should not forgive him for, but he's still. But that's where the human part comes in, and you go, okay. I mean, you know, like, he's still human, but so that's good. We don't lose him like the Joker. It doesn't go that far.
Right.
So it's really those moments that come back. You go, okay, you know, really great scene. Yeah.
But definitely, oh yeah, that scene was fantastic. Probably one of my favorite of the movie.
Yeah.
It was really well done, and really, again, I think it gave her the platform to like finally be more than just the nagging wife, I guess, is kind of how she was characterized. Obviously, she's right a lot of the time, but like, this gave her the chance to say, "You've hurt me. Look what you've done to me and our family." And it was very powerful. And again, like, they seemed to have a great life in America, and they left it all just because the father got shot. So
he drops everything for him, you know.
Yeah. So pretty great scene. I really enjoyed that one. What was another really good scene.
Honestly, there's so many good details.
There's a lot of there's a lot of good pieces.
Yes, there's a lot of good pieces, and just again,
out.
just like details of this movie that are really good. Again, with the humor and all that. I mean,
I did pull out my phone in the middle of the movie to ask Abhishek, hey, yo, what's with this swastika thing, man? I am
swastik.
I know. What's with this swastika thing?
They made that very clear themselves in the movie.
Yeah, and then I didn't wait till later in the movie where he was being hilarious. He says, it's turned a little.
Right.
That's the bad one. That one, and I was like, oh, it's okay. So but he told me it's like an actual Hindi word.
No, it is. Yeah, no, it's true.
Or symbol.
That symbol's everywhere. Yeah, so
I had no clue.
Really? Yeah. It's everywhere in there, and then so it's very it looks very much like. I mean, I'm sure it's heavily mistaken. A lot for that. Yeah,
definitely heavily mistaken. But no, that scene where he's in the
talking to
the warehouse and talking to the workers, getting them rebriled up, seeing like what he can possibly do and how he can bring the whole factory back to work was super powerful.
Agreed.
And then everything he does, every like great thing he does is almost ruined by him being so off the rails, off hinged.
Yes.
Because he talks about slitting a guy's throat. And then, like, everything he does is it's almost always too much.
Yes.
And that's like the kind of beauty of the whole character and the movie, that like, here's this guy who could probably rule the world.
Yeah. If
he could just be controlled.
Right.
But he can't be controlled because he's an animal. So yeah, it was very, very good. What's the other good scene? The scene which I thought was hilarious was the final fight scene of the two guys. Them slow motion. And then the two guys come and they say they've been hitting each other like that for 2 hours. Yeah. And I started laughing so loud. I was like,
there's some really fantastic humor in this. I was like, one of my notes was humor. I'm like, it's well done. It's not cheesy. It's well where they occur is always is perfect timing. It's just at the right times. I love the humor in this movie. It's
the humor is really funny.
It's really good.
it continues on because both of them, one doesn't speak. The other one is actually deaf and he knocks out his hearing aid.
Neither of them didn't know.
He doesn't speak and he can't hear. And I was just like, this is hilarious.
It's really fantastic because these jokes. I would characterize this. It is very much a gangster flick, just not in that world. It's very much that. It's very much like a modern sort of Godfather
take this
type.
Gangs of Wasseypur.
Yeah, it's like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's always brought down by this mundane humor, which is because when you look out at it from that perspective, it is funny. Like it's ridiculous. This whole world is just really just ridiculous, but they always choose the right moments and the things to pick at to to really call out that I think was really, really smart. And so especially in moments like that, he freaking just rails on his neck 2 seconds later from that joke, and it's just it works. It just works.
Yeah, and,
really funny.
The director, we haven't really talked about it, but we got to give the director a massive shout out. 100%. He wrote, directed, and edited
it.
He edited it.
Whoa.
He edited the movie as well. He did it all. So like,
you're right.
He did. Where those strong musical beats are coming in. All the music in the movie was fantastic.
Music's
pretty much all Indian music is
very loud.
It was very loud.
They really need to just a little bit.
They need to mix down, guys. Mix down.
-6, just -6.
Yeah, -6. It won't make that big of a difference. Us Americans are weak.
Our ears, man. I don't know what it is, but it's just.
But yeah, he did all of it. The music beats were great. Every time there was a new entrance, there was always a fantastical musical number that followed it. The music video parts of it that were there. I thought the part of the axe fight that I really actually did like was his buddies
quartet.
His quartet singing as he was throwing this out. And I was like, in America, I don't think that would work. But here, it works so well because they're singing this like powerful ballad, like pumping their chest, holding up guns, and he's kicking the shit out of all these guys. it all works so well.
Again, when it would just narratively, they tied it in narratively, and it just like it completely works.
Everything was tied in. There was no like music videos or anything like that.
You're right. It wasn't like done in a music video way, but there was still music.
Like,
Yeah,
this wasn't Jailer, where out of effing nowhere there's a movie set and
yeah,
woman dancing, and you're kind of like, listen, I like this song and I like looking at this woman, but what?
Yeah.
How do we get here?
To give props again to Sandeep, one of my notes was that this is a very focused film. Like it has character and it had a vision, and you feel that in the editing, in the music choices. You just feel it all the way through. And that's what happens when you have a very talented director, screenwriter, editor. Like the guy just knows what he wants, and he does it himself. That's really fantastic.
You applaud, just unequivocally applaud how well it's paced.
Yes.
Even though I said one of my critiques is it does drag in the second half, there was never a moment where I was like, okay, let's go to the next thing. Let's go. Come on, let's move again. Because it's always
story moves, man. The story moves.
You're always going. And again, the dude knows what he had. I don't know if he knew Ranbir, he went with Ranbir for this part, but he knew he had this star, and he knew, hey, I'm going to put him front and center in pretty much every scene.
Yeah.
And there's much never going to be a scene without him.
That's a good... Is there a scene without him?
Yeah, there's a couple scenes. We know when we go to the other wedding in Scotland.
Okay. Yeah.
But just very, very briefly. And they moved through that very quickly. And I didn't get confused about that, which was funny.
I'm telling you, see, like in another movie, you'd be like, what? Where do we go? What is this?
Kept it simple, stupid. So, kept the story simple. I think he did good. I really, really like it. It was a fun movie. And let's talk about the post-credit scene.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that. Yes, we have to talk about the post-credit scene.
The post-credit scene, spoilers, the turn off here. Post-credit scene starts as we get to a hotel room, and you find out that the Abrar Hogg, who was, if you want to say the enemy, I guess, in this movie, he was there for about 15 minutes, before Ranbir killed him. But his brother, Aziz, underwent a surgery, and they mention this very, very briefly. Underwent a surgery to make him look like VJ. So VJ could go in, infiltrate the area, and kill the father, and then it would all be done. Well, we find out that Aziz is alive and well, and Aziz pops his face out, and guess who it is? It's good old Ranbir, looking a lot different. No more long hair. He's got a nice...
Cool.
He did look pretty badass.
He looked really cool.
He did look cool. He's basically VJ's doppelganger, right? We'll put it like that. And he's got... I believe he has two of VJ's sidemen there that he that he went to go recruit, which also, by the way, we haven't mentioned that scene. That scene is great when he goes out to get his own men.
Oh, the brothers, yeah.
The brothers, yes.
Yeah, really well done.
Yes, so and then you find out that he's going to go exact revenge on VJ and his entire family. And then you get the other scene, because they're doing a lot. The beginning of the movie starts with an old VJ talking, and then he's telling a story about a monkey.
I like that story too.
Yeah, and he makes a joke, and he goes, I can't do the noise. Anyway, it ends with a similar scene with VJ going, which I think is pointing to that this doppelganger, Aziz, is successful and kills him. Because in the previous scene, he points to his nuts at one point. Aziz does.
Okay, hold on then. Wait, what does that mean? Are you saying that we're gonna follow Aziz instead at some point in the sequel? Is that Aziz in the beginning of the movie?
I think it's Aziz at the beginning of the movie. Yes.
Was that the callback? Wait, hold on. You're talking about the black and white scene at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Was that him?
That's Ranbir, yeah.
Okay. I thought that was the director.
No, that's Ranbir.
Oh,
that's
interesting.
that's old. That's old VJ, old man VJ.
Huh? I didn't read it. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say
Remember,
that.
like, go ahead.
I'll say one of the. I don't know if you've seen this, dude. I wanted to bring up the post credit scene because it's not just a post credit scene. It's the first time I've seen a announcement for a direct sequel within the first movie. Like, it's not just like an announcement either. The fucking title of the sequel is put up on screen. Animal Park, which is a great fucking title, by the way.
Yeah.
Right there, I was like, I was confused first. I was like, wait, what? What's going on? Like, you're telling me there's a 2 coming, like, right, 3 months? What's going on? Clearly, you guys have shot a little bit of it. I was like, wow.
Well, I don't know. I was talking to one of the followers who reached out to me, and I said, is there a sequel coming imminently? And he goes, no, this guy's got 2 other movies planned already.
Well, so they at least shot that scene, an announcement. Right. But like the fact they knew, I guess, like, they had to wait for pre-ticket sales to release. But like, once pre-ticket sales were like, the numbers were good, they were like, add it in. We're doing Animal Park.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fantastic.
Oh, man,
that's really ballsy and great. But obviously, I think it's going to be a humongous hit.
Yeah.
And so there you go. I mean, it's I mean, pretty cool. Never seen that, really.
Not much else to say about the film other than that it was a fun ride. I was very surprised by it. And
Me too.
You know, again, Andrew Tate, he's going to love this movie.
I think he should. He definitely should watch this movie. I think him and his whole crew would be in the theater along with all of India, just going nuts and drinking champagne, and shooting guns in the air. That scene, by the way, talking about maybe what I think Andrew Tate maybe does on a Saturday. That scene where he gets
where he's naked,
he's naked and he's just walking through the freaking courtyard. Everyone's shooting their guns in the air, getting rid of that belly. I'll tell you something, by the way, bro. There's no fucking way that this movie was passed through like the Hollywood proper. This movie would not be screened.
No,
should not be screened in this state. Yeah, for sure. They will attack this movie. And what's funny to me is that like they wouldn't dare attack this movie because it's also a minority movie, and so they're just losing their minds right now. Like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, I want to ask people, what has the reception been to this movie in India, like, and all around the world, from wherever you are? Comment down below, and like, has there been like a negative reaction to this movie because of the misogyny? Comment below and let us know, because I do want to know. But yeah, man, you got anything else to say about it?
No, besides I really loved it. I really liked it. I would watch this again, even at the 3-hour rundown. I would probably watch this again.
For me, Pathan's number 1, Rocky Aurani's number 2. I haven't seen Jawan yet. I'm told I will be high up on that because of how great the action scenes looked. But this would be 3, I think, actually, believe it or not.
I think in terms of that order, I think I actually would have this above Pathan for me specifically.
Yeah. Pathan's a total personal choice.
It's a personal, they're not the same movie. They're not the same movie, obviously not.
I just didn't. I've seen it times already this year.
I agree. I've seen it also multiple times. I love it. Again, it's not the same movie. It's not a movie you can just put on, But I think as a movie, I liked this one more. As a movie, this isn't. I like this more. I love the narrative. I love how they executed it.
This is a good movie.
It's really good. I loved it. It's really good.
Really well done. Really fun. Like fun action scenes.
Can't wait to see more from this guy.
Ridiculous, funny things. Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. This guy is the India version of Tarantino.
Ooh, that's a really good way to put that. Maybe.
Long, strung out dialogue for a long period of time, followed by incredible, intense action.
Scorsese too. Very Scorsese.
Yeah.
Love it.
On Scorsese, I watched Killers of the Flower Moon.
I haven't seen it yet.
I felt the pace there. I felt the drag. And like both of them aren't dealing with like fun subjects. Like this isn't a fun movie, right? You better not say it's fun, Ed, you misogynist piece of shit. Anyway, but I will say I felt the length quite a bit in Killers of the Flower Moon, and I did not.
4 hours. That's a
3.5 hours.
3.5, whatever. That's true.
So it's not much longer. But again, like I felt the length, and I felt the length of Scorsese's last film, The Irishman. I was like, look at this old man pretending
that
to be
was
young.
4 hours. Yeah.
This is long. I don't like it. But I didn't feel it in this one.
No?
It was a new idea, new thing. Yeah. I enjoyed the film more than I thought I was going to enjoy it.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100%.
Yeah,
I was like,
a bit worried by followers. And I was like,
I didn't have a low bar, but I was expecting something probably along the lines of Jailer, right? Like that kind of movie. And it just completely was not that. I mean, like, again, the narrative here is actually really strong. There was an actual story, and it kept to it. And I was fully engaged with all the characters and everyone happening, and it wasn't confusing, and it was entertaining. That BFG fucking gun scene, fucking phenomenal.
That was great. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I knew it wasn't going to be Jailer based on the second trailer.
Okay.
Once the second trailer came out, and it was like this, it was just him walking with his wife in, what was that? What's that place called?
Scotland? No, somewhere else.
Kashmir. In Kashmir.
Yeah, Kashmir, yeah.
I was like, okay, this isn't going to be Jailer. This is going to be
Thank
something.
goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I was only hoping that it would be a very focused, like, father-son traumatic thing. Like, that would be... And they did it. They freaking went there. I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered everything we needed to on the movie. We thought it was fun. Go watch it.
Definitely.
2023 is still going to end with a bang. We've still got Donkey and Solar to watch.
Yeah, Solar. I saw the trailer, the new trailer for that in front of this one.
Oh, I didn't get that trailer.
I did, yeah, and it way better than the first one. I'll say that, and it looks really good. It looks.
I didn't get that trailer. That's
there's a new. There's a new one. I wonder if it's on. It should be up now. I would imagine.
I don't know.
Maybe we could react to that. But I actually was treated to that trailer in my screening, so that was really cool.
All right, yeah, we'll have to we'll have to react to that. Absolutely,
let's do it.
All right, guys, thanks so much for liking, watching, subscribing. We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.